Now, the State of Israel is all set to begin negotiations on the second phase of the Gaza ceasefire deal this week. This, even as it demands a complete demilitarization of the Palestinian enclave. Now, these are the images of thousands of Israelis who took to the streets of Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, demanding for their government to get the release of the 73 hostages who are still in the custody of Hamas. 500 days since the 7th of October attack. In Jerusalem, the protesters gathered outside the Prime Minister Netanyahu's residence, chanting slogans for the release of all hostages. Some chained themselves to a mock cage on the ground to illustrate the manner in which some of the released hostages had testified to being held in captivity. In Tel Aviv, the protesters held a rally in a central square not far away from there, outside of Israel's defense ministry. Scores of others gathered with the same aim, and that is to demand for the release of all hostages. Now, amidst mounting pressure, the Israeli government has said that it will not accept the continued presence of Hamas or any other group in the Gaza Strip.
We are completing the withdrawal despite the violations of the agreement. The most basic violation is the presence of Hezbollah activists south of the Litani River. Unfortunately, it continued to be the reality. Once Lebanon fully implements its side of the deal, there will be no need to hold.
Now, the Arab League meeting on Gaza, initially set for next week, has been postponed to the 4th of March. The host nation, Egypt, has said that the new date has in fact been agreed with the Arab League members as part of the preparations for the summit. The meeting has been called in response to the American President Donald Trump's proposal to take over the Gaza Strip completely by the Americans and then to expel all Palestinians from the Gaza Strip and then push them either into Egypt or Jordan. Lebanon, on the other hand, has said that it will consider any remaining Israeli presence on its land as a clear case of an occupation and that it has the right to use any means to ensure that the Israeli soldiers go back from the Lebanese territory. The statement has come as the latest deadline for the withdrawal of the Israeli troops from Lebanon ends today.
Firstly, to turn to the UN Security Council, which approved Resolution 1701, to demand that it takes the necessary measures to address Israeli violations and oblige Israel to immediately withdraw to the international borders in accordance with what is required by the UN resolution and the relevant declaration. Secondly, to consider the continued Israeli presence in any inch of Lebanese territory as an occupation with all the legal consequences that result from that in accordance with international legitimacy.
Now, under the November truce, the Israeli troops were granted about 60 days to withdraw from southern Lebanon, where they had waged a ground offensive against the fighters from the Hezbollah group since early October. That deadline had been extended until the 18th of February, but the Israeli and the Lebanese officials, as well as foreign diplomats, had anticipated that Israel would retain some troops on part of the Lebanese side of the border. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.